down. You can buy a car for your real estate business and finance 100% of it, and you can still depreciate the car. We wouldn't write off 100% of the car, but it depends how big your real estate business is. Maybe we'll write off 50, 60. If you got a big business, we'll write off 90% of the car. If it's a dump truck or very specific, we'll write off 100%. It depends on facts and circumstances. As accountants, we have sayings, right? Pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. So you just don't want to be a hog about things. You just want to take what's given to you. So the good thing about depreciation, it's a write-off that doesn't cost you any money. So in other words, if you buy a $400,000 condo, we can write off that condo over a 27.5-year period. Residential real estate is 27.5 years. Depreciation based on entire cost of property. You can't depreciate land, so we try to carve out land. Condos and co-ops don't have a lot of land, so that's good. It's mostly depreciable property. You don't have to spend the cash. You can buy it all for finance it, and then still write off depreciation. You can write off the property value while the property is appreciated, so that's kind of cool. You get your 3.5%, 4%, 5% a year, but you get to write off that property while it appreciates. Early or faster write-offs for replacement of so let's say you buy a house and you replace the roof. Well, when you bought that house, you bought the roof with it. So if the roof is going to cost you $20,000, we can now write off maybe $8,000 for the old roof that we're getting rid of, because you did buy that roofing. So a lot of people forget about those replacement properties. In other words, if I'm going to replace the roof, or if I'm going to replace the window, if I'm replacing all the windows in the house, I bought a lot of windows with that house, and it has some value. It is hard to get that value, but again, pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. Just be conservative, don't go crazy. There's a thing called cost segregation studies too. You can pay an engineering firm to go in and look at your property and say, okay, you bought refrigerators, you bought light switches, you bought lights, you bought HVAC system, and they'll tell you what the value is of everything that you bought, and they'll tell you what their depreciable life is. This is 7 years. This is shrubbery. Shrubbery happens to be 15 years. You put a driveway in. Driveway's a 15-year asset. So these reports are very, very detailed and very easy to work with because they break it down for accountants and tell you what the depreciable life is. They're kind of expensive too. Worth it, but kind of expensive. If you buy a condo, if you buy a house, you can do a cost segregation study like this. If you're buying a house, you're buying a refrigerator with a house, you're buying a dishwasher with that, you're buying a microwave with that, generally speaking. So you can figure out what the cost of these things are. Are they new or are they used? And then we'll try to carve those out and depreciate those in a little quicker fashion. So even though you're not paying $5,000 to $10,000 for a cost segregation study, you can do on your own a little light cost segregation. Nothing too heavy, we're not engineers, but we're not going to ignore it, and we can try to do the best we can with it.
I have a question. So basically every year, whatever you're purchasing for the property, to either replace or upgrade if it's not functional, that would be considered what you could depreciate over the value. And do you do it yearly?
So the question is, when you buy stuff for your property, you can depreciate it, yes. And it's different depreciable life. If you buy a refrigerator, because the old refrigerator with, we can accelerate that to 100% right away, because you plug it in. Or we can do it over 7 years, whichever you prefer. You might be having a bad year, so you don't want to accelerate depreciation. So you might want to just take it over 7 years. You might be having a lot of depreciation, so you know what? Just leave it at 27.5 years. Very unlikely. Yeah, but you can make that choice when you're doing your taxes. So the Section 179 expenses, you can write off 100% of, and this is really obviously big numbers. So this is when you buy an apartment complex. You do a cost segregation study. That's where it's worth it. You're buying a 100-unit apartment complex at $10 million. You're going to pay $15,000, $20,000 for a cost segregation study. It's a no-brainer. It's going to help you. And you might have $1 million of fixed assets that you can depreciate right away if you wanted to. So Section 179 is when you can write off the full asset right away up to certain limits. You can't use Section 179 deduction to get you in a loss situation.